Welcome to the DraftKings Market Movers here on Drafting Out Loud. On today's episode, we're going to look at the uninspiring risers. We're going to look at the fallers that maybe shouldn't be falling. And then we're going to look at the values and see if there's a way to take advantage of them or if there's anyone that we can take advantage of. So let's get into it. First off, we have our risers. And we only have a 2-day percentage right now because we don't have enough data for weeks and months yet. But let's see what we got going on here. So we got a bunch of risers that are just crazy. There are not many here that I think we can take advantage of on the risers. Really, if there's any, it's towards the bottom of this list. And those two are Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and Tony Pollard. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt probably should be going, closer to 100 than pick 130, at least if you look at other sites as well and just kind of think about where he was going before there was a threat that he was going to be replaced. Looks like he's probably not going to be replaced overall, although he does have a rookie running back that was drafted way late, who's kind of intriguing, but was drafted way late. So Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I'd expect him to continue to rise. I'd want to get some of him now before he rises too much. Once he gets to pick like 100 or 110, he starts to get a little unappealing. So get him like a round or two later than that when you can. Tony Pollard, he's probably going to still rise up, probably into like the 70s, at least you'd think. So if you can get him right now at a little bit of a discount, he's another player that I think you want to go after while you can. When you look at the rest of these players, they're all priced up pretty high already, and they're rising even more. The one player that maybe you could sneak into here, say there's some intriguing value, or two players would be Jadarian Price and Cam Scattaboo. Jadarian Price at 63, he's already feeling kind of pricey to me, if you ask me. I drafted him on DraftKings on a team, and overall, it just, in my opinion, makes your whole running back room feel a little naked. Like you have this player who might do something at the beginning, he might not, he might do something in the end, less likely that he will. So how do you draft your team knowing you got just this hole on your roster? That's kind of how it feels to me. So Jadarian Price, if you like him, he's probably going to continue rising. Go grab him now. I'm going to mix him in, but I'm not going to be chasing him, way up the board. I'm not going to be mixing him in heavily as much as just trying to sprinkling him in here or there when I feel like he's a little bit of a value. At pick 63, I think you got to do it right now while you can because he's probably going to go rise up higher. I just don't like it. And then Cam Scatabo, similar deal. Apparently, everyone was pricing him as cheaper due to the possibility of Love going to him. Now, obviously, I guess that was a possible thing considering Love went at 3, but um, I felt like he was priced where he was more for injury concerns. But apparently, the market's saying that it's not injuries that we're worried about. It was the possibility of losing your job to a rookie. So he looks like he's rising. Looks like he's probably going to continue to rise. I would probably try to mix him in right now because if you do get positive news, he's just going to skyrocket even more. That being said, I don't like it because it was a pretty significant injury, and we really haven't gotten any I haven't really seen much news that says like he's good to go. So I'm going to mix him in some. I'm just not going to be happy about it. We look at our fallers. There are a couple fallers here that are ones that I think are intriguing. Puka Nacua on the falling list again. So uh, hopefully we can get him at like 5 or 6 or 7 here on DraftKings. That would be ideal. Puka has been the one that's been the hardest for me to get. He has just doesn't fall. And then when I am in a spot where I should get him, someone else takes him and I end with someone else. So I have very little Puka. I'd love to get him more. Surprising here, some of the other fallers on this list, like Jalen Waddle. I'm not sure why he's falling. I'm not saying that this is an amazing price, but I'm not sure what's happened after the draft that's making him fall. I would expect his price to stay the same for the most part, but it's falling. Wan'Dale Robinson, now back at pick 100. He's probably still going to get targets. Tate, the rookie, has shown that he's not really a target hog. So if that's the case, then Wandale should still get a lot of targets. I mean, they signed him to a nice contract. So on a PPR site, if you can get him at a similar price to what you can on Underdog, I think he's a is someone that you should feel pretty good about overall. Of course, we're not looking at the whole entire landscape, who's going above or below Wandale, but at pick 100, that's telling me there's maybe something there, considering now he's again getting kind of close to the price of underdog. Now we'll look at the values and see who's on the values list. We'll see if that's actually true or not when we get to the next one. Jeremiah Love falling almost into the third round. I think that's an easy smash. He's also a PPR, type of guy. He's catching a lot of passes. So to have James Cook on this list, although he's in the first round, right? So that makes sense, maybe why he's falling a little bit, depending on what you want. But to have Jeremiah on this list almost in the third round, to have where are they? It's not on this list, it's actually on the values, so they're not falling. But when we go to the values list, you're going to see Brees Hall on the values list probably. You're going to probably see Trevion Henderson on the value list. Players that have been there the whole time, and they're PPR types of guys as well. So if you could end up with like Jeremiah Love, Brees Hall, and Trevion Henderson as your running backs on DraftKings, and you got to feel pretty good about that, getting all the pass catchers, getting those extra points. So I think those are your targets really when it comes to the fallers. Puka Nacua, if you can get him at a value. Jeremiah Love, if you can get him anywhere in the late second or early third round, thank you very much. Jalen Waddle, he's attractive when he starts getting around here. That being said, you are competing with someone like a Mike Evans, someone like a Devontae Adams, who should probably be rising up the boards a bit just because he didn't get replaced by a rookie. So there's other players that maybe you want as well. So then maybe that's why he's falling. I guess we're talking it through as we go. Wandale Robinson is someone we probably want to target again. And then Byshell Tootin, another pass catcher here, falling from pick 61. I think he's probably already cheaper on here than underdog. And again, another one that probably shouldn't be cheaper on DraftKings. So those are the ones I think I'll be looking at on DraftKings. Here's our platform values. Let's see if any of these players fall on our platform values. Well, yep, there's Trevion Henderson, like we've always seen. There's Brees Hall as well. Braylon Allen's on this list at 199. I think that's a more attractive price now also, because the Jets didn't take a running back either, kind of locking him into that number 2 running back. That being said, if we want to hit on some players here that we feel are the best values. In fact, I kind of said a couple of these already. I said both of them already, actually. So Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt at 130. I think we want to take advantage of that. He's rising. He's also a value on the site. The other one here is Mike Evans at 52. Getting him in the 5th round is pretty nice. He feels like the type of player like Devontae Adams was last year. He was going a little bit later, and he easily paid off his price, getting a lot of touchdowns. Not as many catches for Devontae Adams last year, but Evans can be a touchdown machine, can be just a target machine too. Obviously, health maybe age a concern, but I think there is some value there, as this chart would indicate. Kyle Monangai staying in the 100s after the draft. You could argue that maybe is a interesting one, kind of, assuming he gets the same type of work he got last year. Then it's a really nice price at 97. And the concern for, I think, everyone there was that, again, the Bears would sign another running or draft another running back. And really any running back could compete for carries with Monangai, who was a 6th or 7th rounder. But they didn't do it. So if you can get him still at pick 100, I think that it makes it a little bit more appealing now than it was before. Still not my favorite click, but makes it a little bit more appealing. Him and like a Blake Corum, you can kind of argue why they should have higher costs compared to a lot of the other backup running backs. I think it makes sense to mix them in. One person I'm not mixing in here, it would be Jonah Coleman at 169. I think we need more news before we do that. I don't think it really can rise unless you hear like he's the starter, but it can definitely fall. So I think I'd be waiting a little bit to see what's going on there, unless you get a fall on him. I took him at 200 in one draft on underdog. I think that maybe makes sense, but at 169, it's a little pricey. Let's get into a DraftKings draft and see how it goes. See you on the next one. Peace.